most wonderful time of the year. What up, y'all? DC Fago guy. Welcome back to What's Happening Now. It is Christmas time, baby. Lots of Christmas stuff. Lots of Christmassy stuff going down. One thing there is not a shortage of, there are a lot of artists that have some kind of a Christmas show going on. And that's not a dig, that's not a diss, that's not a dog. That's just saying there's plenty of opportunities to go see potentially an artist you like, potentially in your area. It's a lot of potential. Before we jump in though, let's give a motherfucking shout out to our members. We got a grip. We got a long list of people that support the channel. So let's jump in and give them a shout out. Starting off with Kabazucha Boom, Lorgasm, Ivy Killa, Unique Freestyles, Do It For The Underground, MP23, Lone Flube, Show Me Your Bumhole, Juggalotus Beady John, Seth Moon 665, Spicy Strawberry Boy, Durable Object, Acute Doge, Crimson Black, Owen Battery, Gage Von Wow, Watch More Naruto, and Juggalo J-Word, and Harley VT. Not sure how or why, but my screenshots got all mixed up, and I feel like I was in a very different order than the last several shoutouts that we've given. But shout out to the members. Thank you guys for your support. If you would like to help support the channel, you can hit the link in the description to join the channel for a very, very small fee. Costs less than a Fago to be a member to help support the channel. So you can do so by hitting that link in the description. So shout out to the members. Thank you guys for your support. So jumping right in, there's a few Christmas shows that are definitely going down, and we're going to go over most of the ones that I have caught in my attention. There may be some that I'm missing. There may be some that maybe you wanted to hear me talk about, but I am completely missing them. These are the ones that came across my feed and the ones that I am aware of. Obviously, the Monstar Christmas was one of them. We talked about it previously, but there's that one going down. We've got fucking Axmas going down, and kind of conveniently for the second year in a row, Axmas and Big Ballers is on the exact same night. The difference this year being Axmas is going down in Columbus. We will get to Big Ballers in just a moment, but Axmas is going down December 19th on the roster. And I know there's been an update, and I did not grab the update. Obviously, you've got all of Long Live Evil performing, Ala Zululu, SON, Super Famous Fun Time guys. But the flyer that I have saved, and like I said, more were added to it. But the one that I've got, SOS, I have no fucking clue who this person is. Their logo is atrociously hard to make out, so I don't have a fucking clue who that is. And somebody called Mr. Sinful. Again, this is the flyer that I have. It has been updated. There have been more additions to this lineup, but it is going down at Victories. I think it's Classic Victories, and is going down in Columbus, Ohio. The next Christmas show that you could potentially hit up is Mob Style Christmas. This one is going down September. Yeah, it's going down in September for fucking Christmas. It is going down December 13th in Louisville, Kentucky. If you have been down to Hollow Bleed in the last couple of years, it is at the exact same venue as Hollow Bleed. It's in Germantown, or it's on Germantown in Louisville, Kentucky. Actually, honestly, I think it's called Headliners Ball, I think is the name of it. Headliners, something like that is the name of the venue. Been there a few times. I actually really like that venue quite a bit. It's got a nice layout. There's a bar in the back, and it's elevated. And if you guys know me, I like to hang out in the back, so it gives me some elevation to see the stage a lot better. So I actually do really like that venue. Performing at Mob Style Christmas is Buckshot. We got Kung Fu Vampire, which tells me they will definitely do some Double Dragon shit, because the brand new Double Dragon album just dropped earlier this year. So I think it would be a huge missed opportunity if they did this show and did not do any kind of double drag. So I fully expect that that is something that they will do. But also performing is a hometown hero, C-Mob. C-Mob lives not too far from me in Indiana, so that's why I call him a hometown hero. We don't live in the same town, but we don't live too far from each other. So, talented, fucking dope artist. If you've never listened to his album, The Devil and Dickies, go give that a listen. It is a great concept album. I would definitely rank that in like my top 10 concept albums if I was to do that. Because I think that album is really fucking good. I don't want to spoil too much about it, but it's definitely one to go check out and go peep. Very dope. But also performing, we got Insane Poetry. We got Loon Squad, of course. We've got Timbo, which is Buckshot's son. You got Be Good, the artist. That's an interesting name. You got Checkmate, Stoneface, and Rasputin. So that is Mob Style Christmas, again, going down December 13th in Louisville. So if you are close to Louisville, that is definitely one for you to hit up. And then, of course, ICP's, the first ever, I think, Big Baller holiday party instead of the Big Balla Christmas party. So this might be the first official of this particular event, Big Baller. It is going down December 19th, but this one is going down in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which I saw this announcement and I kind of went, interesting, because this year's gathering, they had stated that they want to move Juggalo Day or Juggalo Weekend kind of permanently to a southern state. Because in the recent years, they've felt bad about having it in the wintertime where it's cold, where Juggalos are going to get soaked in Faygo from the show and then go out into that cold. That their goal was to make Juggalo Day somewhere warmer. But the Big Baller Christmas party, or Big Baller, I'm sorry, is going down in Wisconsin, which is also a notorious state, much like Juggalo Day from this year. You know, New England, notorious for fucking snowstorms. I'm pretty sure Wisconsin is pretty fucking notorious for cold weather as well, being that it's, you know, the last state in this portion of the country before you get to Canada. So, geography lessons aside here, I think that could potentially be another, I don't want to say a recipe for disaster, but it will definitely be a recipe for a potential cold show. So if you are planning to hit that up, I would say dress warm. But yeah, that is all the Christmas parties that are going down. The officially themed Christmas parties. Like I said, there is more, most likely others that I am missing. I'm sure of it. But these are what I have on my radar. These are the ones that I saw. These are the ones that I kind of had thoughts about. I've been to Axmas. Absolutely fucking great. Had a lot of fun with that show. Mob Style Christmas is one that I would potentially like to scratch off my list one of these days. I'm curious if it's more of a Christmas party type show. That's kind of what I'm looking for when I think about a Christmas show. Is something that is more of like presented like a party. Like if they served food to the attendees, I think that would make it feel more. I think they did that one year for Big Ballas, if I'm not mistaken. One of the ones where it was on the boat. Didn't they serve hot dogs? Sure, low budget as a motherfucker, but still food nonetheless. Like, I wouldn't expect them to come out with some big gourmet feast, but, you know, maybe one of those big, you know, aluminum foil pans full of mashed potatoes, another one there full of mac and cheese, and maybe one with ham. Like a little kind of Christmassy type dinner that you could expect to have at the show. Again, kind of, I think that would kind of set up for some food fights, but, I mean, what kind of a Juggalo Christmas party would that be if there wasn't some kind of a fucking food fight or trash fight or something? But, yeah, I guess when it comes to Christmas shows, that's kind of one of the things that I'm, I guess, seeking out that makes me want to go to a Christmas show is hearing stories of it being more in kind of the theme of that. Obviously, they are concerts. I just think that would be really cool to go to a Christmas show. To be able to say I went to a Christmas show and it was like a Christmas party. Which, if I'm not mistaken, and I could be wrong, that might have been more of what the Big Ballas was like when it was Christmas at our, I think it was Christmas at our house or something like that in 2018 when they did Big Ballas. That's kind of the environment I think that show was. And I'm waiting to kind of see that recaptured and continue to be like a recurring thing, which I think Big Ballas might be in the avenue I'm talking about. It might be in the avenue that I'm thinking about. But yeah, I'm kind of waiting for Big Ballas to also come closer. Last year was a really good potential for me to go because it was in Columbus, and that is a super doable drive. But Wisconsin absolutely is not. My father-in-law actually goes on a fishing trip every June up there. Forget the name of the place that he goes to, but they go up to Wisconsin, and if I'm not mistaken, I think they had said it's a several-hour drive to get there. So it would definitely be something. If I was going to do it, I would plan to make it a weekend thing and stay multiple days. But yeah, that's the Christmas parties that I have that are going down. Again, there is more than likely others that are going down, but I didn't bring them here to this list. But the other show that did get announced, it's not themed as a Christmas show. It's not really themed as their New Year's show even. But Twiztid did announce that they are going to be hosting or holding a mystery show. It will take place in Lansing, Michigan, and it is going down on December 27th. So the reason why I say that this is not their New Year's Evil, because I think people might be thinking, well, this is just a mystery show. Maybe they'll still have New Year's Evil. The announcement literally says, this just in, the Demented Duo has announced their last performance of the year. So this mystery show is going to be it. There is not going to be a New Year's Evil, which is interesting that was a choice, that they wanted to do the mystery show instead of New Year's Evil and not combine the two and move it to New Year's Evil. Perhaps they couldn't book or find a venue to host New Year's Evil. I don't know. But I'm just presenting it to you how it's presented to me. And, maybe there's a certain technicality where they kind of look at New Year's Evil as being the first show of 2026. And maybe that's the big surprise. I don't know. But all I know about this mystery show, it says Twiztid will perform. Who will be there is a question. What will they wear is a question. And they have not announced what they will perform. So I'm really kind of leaning, and this is maybe a stretch, but when I first saw this, I was like, this imagery is giving me Man's Myth vibes. There's something about their looks. Jamie looks a little bit heavier than he has in the recent years. This, to me, feels very much like the Man's Myth era. I'm super hopeful that that's what this show would be, is Man's Myth. And if you've watched a couple of my last few, I would say What's Happening Now's, whenever we bring up this whole freak show anniversary that they've been doing, I've been I know at least one time I had said that I had wished that they were doing something different, and one of those being Man's Myth, because this year marked the 20-year anniversary for it. And I think at the bare minimum, all they did was give us like a anniversary post about the album. And in my opinion, I enjoy Man's Myth way more than Freak Show. That might be a hot take for sure. But Man's Myth was I wouldn't say it was my introduction, but when I discovered Twiztid and finally started listening to Twiztid, Man's Myth was the most recent album. In 2007, I read Behind the Paint, learned what the bigger picture of the Juggalo world was, and that included Twiztid. So I went and just found the most recent Twiztid album available on Hatchet Gear, and Man's Myth and Mutant was it. Obviously, they're a Volume 1 and a Volume 2 set, so Man's Myth was the first album I put on that I listened to fully. I didn't even hit up LimeWire and go download one of their older albums. I didn't even bother doing that kind of research to go see what was their first album. I just went and found the most recent one that they had put out that they were selling on Hatchet Gear, and Man's Myth and Mutant was it. So Man's Myth was the first one to get thrown on because it was Volume 1 of the 2-volume set. And Man's Myth was that album that was like, whoa, fuck, these guys are dope. Now, obviously, I had heard like songs We Don't Die, Fall Apart, Fuck on the First Date years ago. I had heard them when we were living in New Zealand, but it was this weird thing. And if you know file sharing sites like LimeWire, Kazaa, Winmix, personal favorite one of mine there was Winmix. A lot of times people would mislabel shit. So when we downloaded those songs, it was labeled with as ICP. So when we heard it, it felt familiar to ICP, but wasn't. And, you know, I can't explain, like, my, like, common sense back then. I just didn't have it, I think, in some aspects. And I just did not put together the two, that they were in cohorts with ICP. You know, they were signed to the label. So I had heard those songs, but to really fully dive in, knowing who and what Twiztid was, Man's Myth was it. So super hopeful that that is what the mystery show is going to be, which now really kind of pegs the question, am I going to go? It is a very doable show. I've already had a conversation with Echo Side Fiend about it. He's already said, yo, you can either drive up to my house and then ride with me over to Lansing, or we can just meet there. You know, he definitely is planning to go. So this is definitely, and I know I had previously stated it with the Shaggy show that just went down in Michigan as well, that there was a possibility that I was thinking about it. And again, the mystery show is one of those things where I'm considering it. My biggest hang up with this one is, what are they going to perform? The fact that it's a mystery kind of makes me hold back a little bit, because I don't want to go there and it be a show where I'm like, you know what I mean? I don't want to go there and be disappointed expecting Man's Myth. On the same hand, I don't want to miss it and it be Man's Myth. There's just something about this imagery, and I try to go look back through old photos of Twiztid from the Man's Myth era to try to, you know, compare. Because I really feel like this image of them that they have on this is from that era, but there's something that is like triggering in my head, a photographic memory of a picture of them wearing something like this. I feel like Madrox was wearing something orange and Mono was in something blue. There's something about it that's just making me feel that imagery in my head, and I don't know why that is, but it's definitely making me feel like this has got to be Man's Myth. And I would love to see a Man's Myth show. That would be so fucking dope. So I am definitely interested in going to this show. But, the live stuff that I was talking about happening in the previous video is still happening. So there is a link, not a link. If you head over to my channel and you head to my post menu on there, you'll see a post where I shared a video from Meg's channel, Meg's Diamond, where her and I sat down and we really dove into everything that's going on with us right now. But yeah, we dove in and we talked a little bit about what was going on more specifically with our family. So if you are interested to know more, you can go check that out. But, that stuff is still going on. That stuff is still happening. So I would like to go to the mystery show. I'm interested in it, but I can't commit. And I'm not going to say I'm not going to be there, because I can't say that I won't either. But it definitely has my interest. And then, of course, we have the brand new year-end schedule by the one known as Low Key. You guys know I'm on Low Key's Nuts. If you don't know, I'm also involved a little bit doing some stuff for Low Key. And I reached out to Robbie from Do It for the Underground, and I reached out to the homie Gage. And we took a podcast that it was a series that I was doing over on there that is very similar to what's happening now. But we turned it into more of a podcast called Shadowland Offerings. And we just wrapped I think on Black Friday, we filmed for like 4 hours and was able to get 3 episodes worth of stuff that we talked about. So the first one is already out now on YouTube. You can head over to Low Key's channel, Loke Records. I will link it in the description, where you can watch us talking more specifically about everything that is on this year-end schedule, the things we're looking forward to, and all that good stuff. So if you are interested at all in any of the Low Key stuff like that, that is where you can go check that out. But we got some dope shit that Loke is about to fucking drop, including a brand new Jackie O Beats 5, baby. If you don't know what that series is, think of Psychopathic Riders, only instead of it being gangsta shit, it's whatever the fuck Loke turns it into. He jacks the beats from pop songs and just turns them into a fun fucking song. I feel like if you head over to Low Key's Spotify page, if you look him up on Apple Music, that one of the top songs that you're going to see from him is a song called Nasty, and that is off of Jackie O Beats 3. So the Jackie Beats series is very fun, and I'm looking forward to that. But then the other one, completely out of left field, and I don't fully know everything that's involved with this. I'm going to try to, off my dome, go by things that I remember reading in Discord. We had it announced, the Satanic Steakhouse, a brand new group, not affiliated, well, not directly a product of Long Live Evil. It's its own new thing. But if you go listen to the first single, I think it's called VHS, this meathead fella sounds a lot like a one Lee Carver, aka the rotten corpse of Knox. Sounds a lot like that guy. So they are starting like a new group / project that is called Satanic Steakhouse. The first character, if you will, is called Meathead. The album that is going to come out is called Meathead. Yeah, there's a lot. I think, if I'm not mistaken, there was a full post about this that I didn't fully go read into what all it's going to entail. I think I will save that more so for like a full-on proper review. I did listen to the song VHS. Absolutely fucking banger. It's going to be fucking dope. I'm curious to know more about what this project and really the kind of bigger picture of this project will entail. Who all will it involve? Will it just be, will it be characters that Billy Obey is then going to portray, that Joe Black will then portray? Is it just going to be those three, or will it be the bigger Long Live Evil family basically doing like their own little characters that will create this big group or this big family, if you will? That's the curiosities that I have, is how deep does this go? Like, who all does this involve? Is it just Zool doing a side project thing that's completely different from Long Live Evil, completely different from Zool itself? Or is it Long Live Evil doing that in a kind of Psychopathic Riders style thing where they're under different personas that is not them? Very curious to find out more about Satanic Steakhouse. If I'm not mistaken, I think I had seen somewhere that the album VHS, or the Meathead CD, or the Meathead album, will be available December 19th. I do believe I had seen that. I don't know if that's when CDs are shipping out, because you can go pre-order a CD right now. I don't know if that means it's hitting streaming on the 19th and will be available everywhere. I don't know if that means the CDs are shipping then. But I had seen somewhere where it was mentioned that December 19th will be when the album comes out. So right now you can head over to satanicsteakhouse.bigcartel.com. You can pre-order the CD, you can pre-order a shirt, there's a hoodie available, and there's a hat available, and there's a nice bundle that includes all of it. So if you are a fan of Zool, if you are a Zoolian, and this album interests you, you probably already know about this, you can head over, you can pre-order some goodies from this new album, from this new project that is from Long Live Evil, but isn't from Long Live Evil, if that makes any sense at all. So yeah, Satanic Steakhouse, comment. And then, of course, just kind of wanted to bring up specifically one of the things that got announced, but the Black Friday sales, they hit, baby. Psychopathic Vault, 35% off. Low-Key did his Black Friday sale. Really fucking great deals from shadowlandshop.com. Like, masks that are normally like $100 for $60. The return of the shadow masks, which are just all black. It's the different designs he has, but they're in all black. Those were going for $40. But the absolute steal of a deal that Loke held for Black Friday was t-shirts for $10. For me, it was 15 because I got an upsized big guy, even though I've been losing some weight. Great fucking sale right there. I almost grabbed a couple shirts. I didn't end up getting any shirts. I'm kind of limiting how many shirts that I own. I'm running out of closet space. It's a problem I have with my fucking CDs. I'm running out of space. So I'm being more conscious of what I buy, but I almost grabbed a couple shirts. Yeah, hell of a fucking sale there. I think, I personally, in my opinion, I think Loke had the best sell. 35% off is pretty good for Psychopathic Vault, but I mean, if that just gets removed, like if that doesn't, what am I trying to say here? The shipping prices I feel like are so ridiculous on Psychopathic Vault that the sale just makes it what we were normally used to getting. So, yeah. But in my opinion, low-key had probably one of the best sales. Of course, M&E store, they put out the like classic looking flyers, which honestly I think is pretty cool that they have these like Walmart style flyers that they put out. I think that's a really nice touch to their sales. I didn't fully dive into everything that they had discount wise, sale wise that they had going on, but I was more so looking at the items that they were selling. Some decent designs in there, some pretty cool ones. Nothing that really screamed out to me. Obviously, if you order Black Friday weekend, you would get a free sticker. Orders over 35 or more would get a keychain and a sticker. Orders over 75 would get a keychain, sticker, and a pin. And orders over $100 would get a keychain, sticker, pin, and an ornament. Which, in my opinion, was probably the worst gift the worst gift that they've given in recent years, or since I've been repaying attention to them. Usually they would always include audio. Well, come Cyber Monday, they did a new deal where you could, what was it here? Free sticker and CD single with orders over 75, or you would get a free sticker with all orders. That was what they did for Cyber Monday. Quite honestly, I wish they would have just done that part for all of Black Friday. It is kind of, in my opinion, that, you know what I mean? Like, they waited until closer to Cyber Monday to even announce that. If I would have placed an order on Black Friday weekend, just to turn around and find out that Cyber Monday you had to spend the 75 or more for the audio, that's pretty fucking shitty. In my opinion, I think that that's pretty fucking shitty. That should have been either combined all together or announced right away, or have your Black Friday deal go until Monday. And that way somebody could get the sticker, a keychain, an ornament, a pin, and the audio. Which, from what I was told, that the single that they're giving away with every order was actually the Fright Fest. It was either the Fright Fest, it was the VIP, I believe, for Fright Fest, the single that VIP got. That's one of the things I had seen. I didn't go like fact check or anything like that, but that is something that I had seen that was said. But Twiztid had their little sale going on, and I feel like with Twiztid, more of their Black Friday sale is just them introducing new merchandise. I could be wrong. Maybe they do have some discounts, but I feel like that's more of what their sale is just introducing new items that they're going to sell. Again, I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, correct me, but I think that that's kind of the way I've perceived it. But one of these new items, and I was kind of ticked. I was ticked off a little bit by this. Then I text the homie Roan from Beneath the Dirt. I was like, these motherfuckers are committing to this. They released the next collector box set for the House of Crazy's Legacy set. Now, if you guys remember, if you don't remember, they did this earlier in the year for Home Sweet Home, where you would get this box. It would come with a repressed CD. It would come with I think it was might have been a shirt. I think they had a shirt, possibly a jersey, like a big card, I think. I can't remember what all was in that. That's how much I was like, fucking. The point being, let me just digress from that and move forward. The point being that they are doubling down on releasing these box sets that are not really box sets, in my opinion. You're releasing that, you're like repressing the album and you're doing them in pre-order boxes. But the only way to get, you can't just order the shirt. You can't just order this. You can't just order that. You got to order it all in a box set together. And it's like, who? And maybe there are people out there who wants to spend $1,000 to finally own the House of Crazy's discography on CD. And again, there may be somebody out there who's willing to do it and wants to do it. just release the CDs. Like, if you want to do these box sets where they can buy the box set that has all of it, cool, fine. But make these items available separately. And maybe these shirts and stuff are available. I can't remember, because I'm with most people. I really only give a fuck about the CDs, because this is lost. It's basically lost media. You can still go buy the vinyl, I do believe, of all of them that comes with digital codes. But to own this on CD, to really even own it on tape, because they did a box set for that, but that's out of press as well. The original House of Crazy's discography is basically a rarity right now. I mean, not basically, it is a rarity right now. And I guess that maybe could be an argument, is by doing it this way, they're still keeping it a rare item. They're making it very, a rare collectible, especially if you have like the original. I could see that argument, but I think that there's way more interest from people that want to own these albums on CD, that they should be either doing a box set of all of the CDs, or with these runs that they're doing, make just the CD available. This, to me, like, locking them behind this box set is atrocious to me, because it feels like they're preying on the fact that there's such a demand for the CD that you have to buy the whole box set to get the CD, which isn't really true. They have a hole in their plan, because there's enough people, I think, that don't give a fuck, that they don't sell the amount that they're hoping for. And if you know about AC/DC wire supply on eBay, you know it is basically like what Psychopathic Vault was before Psychopathic Vault was a website, which, if you don't know about that, Psychopathic Vault used to be an eBay page where I'm assuming it's somebody they knew from Psychopathic that would just go sell tour leftovers on eBay. They would have rare items, or they would have tour leftovers that would get sold on eBay. That is what AC/DC wire supply is. It's somebody who either works for M&E or is friends with somebody at M&E, and they're getting these leftover items that they then go sell on this eBay page. So it is like, it's kind of like, it's the M&E store vault, if you will, on eBay. That eBay page has been selling just the CDs. As of, I didn't even check, but as of when this drop came out, I went and looked. They still have Home Sweet Home CDs that they're selling on this eBay page, $30, $30. Little on the high side, but this is a rare CD that, who knows? A few times I thought about going over and grabbing that CD, but I wasn't sure what the fate of these little sets was going to be, because it seemed to me like they weren't selling like maybe they hoped, and maybe they would scrap the idea. Or the ultimate hope was that they would just come out with a full-fledged CD box set of just the CDs for fans to get their hands on. That's kind of what I'm holding out for. Maybe I'm wrong, and then maybe someday I'm going to end up having to pay atrocious amounts of money if I want to own the albums on CD. But also at this point and mindset for me, I'm fine with just enjoying them digitally. Somebody had sent me bootlegs. I've been sent like bootleg remasters, even where the audio is like better. You can hear better. So I'm also content not owning them on CD. So if Twiztid wants to sell me on these CDs, they're got to do better than these little legacy box sets, because they're not it. Like, to me, I'm not going to spend $1,000 just to get these CDs and get a jersey and a shirt that I don't want or don't need of each album. That, to me, is go back to the drawing board and come up with something better. Like, make these shirts, make this merch available. Sure, cool, that would be great. But when it comes to the audio side of it, it needs to be more available than locked behind this box set. That, to me, it's kind of predatory marketing, in my opinion. And maybe people disagree with me. Maybe I'm being full fucking hater, but I feel like enough people will be sounding off in the comments agreeing than not agreeing. But that is going to wrap it up for this episode of What's Happening Now. Before we head out, though, let's check out the collection plate.
Pass the collection plate.
Show me how you give.
Pass the collection plate.
If you are unfamiliar with what the collection plate is, I pull comments from the previous episode of What's Happening Now to guarantee yourself a spot in the collection plate. You can become a member, drop a comment, make sure you include the My 2 Cents emoji that members have access to use in their comments if you would like for me to read your comment. Otherwise, you can leave a super thanks to guarantee yourself a spot in the collection plate. Otherwise, just leave something thoughtful that I want to respond to, and I may or may not bring it to the collection plate. But those are the 2 ways you can guarantee yourself a spot in it. Starting off with Durable Object, who says, great episode. I'm glad to see you back. I think Zool is just having fun. It is horrorcore. It is just theater. I think it's only bad taste if someone passed, in my opinion. Also, how do you feel about parodying music? Because they have Dark Lettuce doing whole albums of Dark Lotus. Mealtime Entertainment, that's just remaking a lot of music from the underground. And my favorite now is Sad Clowns, that they remake the sadder underground music as sad folk music. All are on YouTube, and I personally like them. What do you think of this, and how do you feel about it? So, yeah, I'm just really going to kind of answer the question that he presented here. How do I feel about parody music? I think it's funny. I think it's fun. I started to do the Dark Lettuce. I did hit play on it. I didn't make it very far. I don't even think I finished the first song. I found the humor in it. I thought it was hilarious. But to be completely honest, to me, it wasn't like what I wanted to go listen to. You know what I mean? If anything, that made me just want to go listen to Tales from the Lotus Pod. But I think it's fun. I think that people are enjoying it is great. It's awesome. And it's kind of getting, in my opinion, I think it's a really good thing because it is also kind of bringing up that nostalgia and that legacy that maybe some of the newer juggalos coming into the scene don't know about and may never know about. It's helping spark that up, which I think is very important for juggalos today that are just now discovering ICP to know about Twiztid, to know about Psychopathic Records when it, was doing big fucking things. I think it's very important to know that history, to know that side of things, to know why there are OGs that long for Dark Lotus. So I think that is great in that aspect. As far as the other stuff, remake, I have not listened to the Mealtime Entertainment. As far as the sad folk music, the Sad Clowns, I think you called it, I've stumbled upon a couple of them. I think that it's interesting how they are doing that, but again, it just makes me want to go listen to the original more than anything. But I think it's kind of cool. It's a cool concept and a cool idea. So moving on from that, we've got Kabazucha Boom, who says, my question. Recently, Fago Lovers wrote an article about the state of Psychopathic Records and who was on the label. It listed Insane Clown Posse, Ouija Mac, DJ Clay, and Wacko the Kid. They also put down Shaggy the Airhead, Devereaux, Mikey Clark, and Kuma as producers. There seems to be a lot of opinions about who is officially Psychopathic Records, so my question is, who does DC Fago Guy think is on the Psychopathic Records roster? It's ICP. They stated it back in 2018 at the Gathering of the Juggalos that Psychopathic Records was more or less not going to be signing new artists. And it was kind of my opinion that after Gutter Water came out, that was the last Psychopathic Records released, I guess you would say, album that was not ICP. I think it's pretty crystal clear that that is the state of Psychopathic Records, that they are just ICP. I think that there are Psychopathic affiliates. Ouija Mac, obviously, he was the last signee to Psychopathic. He has Hatchet Man on all of his albums. I think a lot of people consider Chapter 17 to be like a subsidiary of Psychopathic Records, even though it's Ouija Mac's thing. So I think Psychopathic Records as a record label really isn't a record label anymore. I think it's just kind of a stamp of affiliation. So if we're talking about that, then yes, everyone that they listed, I think, is definitely an affiliate, or they're in affiliation with Psychopathic in that way. But as far as a record label goes, it really isn't even a record label anymore. I think I feel like things are kind of returning back to the way it used to be, where it's not so much that you're running a record label, it's just kind of your brand. So that's kind of what I think about the state of Psychopathic Records. I think it's more of just like a brand. It's an affiliation, if you will. So, moving on to Juggalo J-Word. I love Zool and Twiztid, but I love the severed heads at Hollow Wicked. It's entertainment, and I thought it was hilarious. And that's exactly what my thoughts were with it. I like Twiztid, and I like Zool. Their beef is not my beef. You know, I understand both sides of the coin. There's business involved, but there's also maybe things that were said behind the door. You know, maybe some comparisons to previous situations and how they got their masters. But, you know, that's not my squabble. I'm here for the music, baby. So, diss tracks, theatrics, it's fun. I see the humor in it. So, it is what it is. Moving on from that, Juggalo's BD John says, are we going to get a review on the re-recorded We Don't Die? Probably not. I tossed around the idea of fully listening to the remade Freak Show, but the interest really isn't there. I will say this on this note. I am actually planning to do a review for the remake of Chainsmoker. I'm not calling it Monoxide's version. That's dumb. That's silly to me. I'm going to call it a remake, but I am considering doing the remake. I'm considering doing a review for the remake of Chainsmoker because I actually really enjoyed it. I went into it super skeptical, expecting to not like it, but I really enjoyed the remake a lot. But anyway, back to Juggalo's BD John's question here. Plus, if you are not from the days of Eminem with the blow-up dolls of ICP, or when you had a bootleg shirt of ICP or Twiztid, etc., and how Juggalos felt about that, then you wouldn't get Zool making the heads and throwing them in the crowd. At the end of the day, this is hip-hop. What Zool did is monumental to show in Juggalo history. Business aside, you can't throw stones and live in a glass house. Twiztid never made heads of ICP, but sure did diss tracks. If you're on the petty Zool heads, then you better be on the Twiztid diss track train. All I'm saying, I listened to Zool before M&E, and I felt then now how I feel about Zool. Zool is the future of wicked shit. I can't stress this enough that the family era is over. Twiztid did to Zool like ICP did to Twiztid. Shows you why Twiztid gets it now and is trying to get back in good graces. Can't be mad at someone if you make the same mistakes. And that was a very interesting perspective. I didn't think about that at all. There's a lot of talk and kind of topics of why it is that it seems that Twiztid is trying so hard to get back into the good graces of ICP. That's honestly a really great fucking thought. That maybe they realize now after running their own label, after having artists that have left and artists that have dissed them, maybe they see the business side of that coin that made them look disgruntledly towards ICP. So maybe for them, it's like, you know what? Fuck. We get it. If Twiztid is now seeing things from the perspective of ICP, then it makes sense why they're trying to, you know, make amends. Because maybe they get it now. But I don't know. Who knows? Who knows really why they're doing all that? But it's interesting, though, that he brings up the blow-up dolls of ICP. And I swear to fucking God, I need to find the actual comment that I made and flash it up here. Because when Billy Obey had posted that they were in Detroit and that they brought some old friends with them, and somebody jokingly had said, oh, what if it's Twiztid? I made the joke, unless it's blow-up dolls like Eminem did, I don't think it's going to be Twiztid. Something like that. I'm paraphrasing myself. But I literally said that shit, and then it happened. I'm like, what the... Obviously, it wasn't blow-up dolls, but it was pretty fucking close. Like, I had a moment like, oh, shit. That was fucking wild. And I didn't have any inside privy information to that, you know. Nobody reached out to me and said that was going to happen. I had no fucking clue. When I saw it, I was like, whoa, crazy. I was literally just saying that shit. And so it's honestly funny that Jungle Speed John pointed that out as well. So moving into the standard collection plate, these are the two comments that I found that I wanted to respond to. Again, you can leave a super thanks to guarantee your spot or become a member. Otherwise, you just got to hope that I see it go, I want to bring this to the collection plate. But we got Sean Shank 87 who says all the new LLE shit is exciting. Never forget Jamie called Axe lazy for M&E's lack of promotion. All the new projects Axe is working on. Those lazy bastards. I lost a lot of respect for Twiztid after how they handled Axe on the label. It's really hypocritical of them, and I am not surprised every Twizzler is defending them. But I am disappointed they can't put their biases away and realize they're just as bad as they claim ICP is. And I don't care about the beef anymore. I've also forgiven Twiztid and still listen to their music. It's just they keep giving me reasons to question them, lol. I used to be a diehard Twiztid fan, too. I supported them for 20 plus years. I just can't see past how they are these days now, and it's disappointing as a fan. And I just can't defend them anymore as a juggalo. And really, honestly, and this goes for any of the artists, why do we have to defend them? You know, I don't think that that's our job to defend them. You know what I mean? Like, if somebody is trying to talk shit to you directly, you just, whatever, shrug it off, move on. I don't think we need to be their bodyguards. I think by doing that, we invite more animosity than we really should. You know, it invites a lot of energy that I don't think you would want in your life. That's why I try to be, you know, with a lot of my opinions, I'm very neutral. Because why? Why invite that energy into my life? So, as far as what you were saying about them being lazy, I see a lot of comments still. There was one person on Reddit the other day when somebody was sharing the promo that they had for No Masters. They put in there, now these guys are off the label and now they want to get to work. Like, you know, I had seen that comment and there was that thought to respond. But ultimately, when you see people saying things in comments that maybe you want to respond to, just kind of think to yourself, what kind of energy is that going to bring back? Like, what could this person say back that could spark, you know, a back and forth that at the end of that interaction, you're not going to feel great about? I don't think anyone would. So that's kind of, I guess, what I'm trying to get at is if you see that kind of stuff, just scroll past it, you know? So, then we have Jam Up Guy who says, do you think Zool will play Ouija Max Juggalo Ohio 4? And at the time of the comment that he had put this was when I was talking about Zool getting booked for Hollow Wicked. And I had it originally that I wanted to bring in and talk about on what's happening now, but the event's already passed. But Zool actually got booked and added to the Shaggy show that went down in Michigan. Think it's really fucking cool that they're getting booked at these shows. It's awesome. It's definitely something that I was hoping for, that they would get more love from that side. Do I think it's possible for them to be at Juggalo Ohio 4? I think possible. I think it's very possible. I would absolutely love to see LLE as a whole there. But I think it's a very likely possibility that they would be at Juggalo Ohio 4. And I would honestly love to continue to see that happening. I think it's safe to say they'll most likely be at the Gathering next year. My hope is that all of Long Live Evil would be main stage, maybe. That'd be pretty fucking sweet. And maybe by then there'll be like a new Long Live Evil project that they could do a show for, you know, maybe on one of the side stages at night, and then leave their main stage performances for their main acts. But I think anything is possible, and it's something that I want to see it. I want to see Chapter 17 and Long Live Evil start to rub elbows more, because I've said it before and I will keep saying it. Regardless of how you feel about Ouija Mac and Chapter 17, and as, you know, fans of Chapter 17, regardless of how you feel about Zool and Long Live Evil, I think that these two entities are the future of this scene. I really do. I've talked about that enough in a previous video that I won't really dive into it more, but they are the future to me of this scene. And so to see them work together and to see a gap get bridged there would be really fucking great and really great for the scene, I think. So I think it's possible, and it's definitely something that I would like to see. But that is going to do it for this episode of What's Happening Now. Leave your thoughts down below. Tell me what you guys think about what's happening now. Peace.